All right, Shalom. All right, Shalom. Okay, Khan. In this lesson, you see the title. I'll be going into "Don't allow your flesh to have you seen in a permanent clown suit out here." All right, don't allow your flesh to have you seen in a permanent clown suit out here. And the subtitle being is your flesh friend or foe? Assessing that is your flesh friend or foe? Is our flesh? These bodies we reside in, we use, are they friend or foe? These bodies, these members we yield around, these things we can pitch and pinch and feel and get excitement through. Are these current ones, for those that know the doctrine, are they friend or foe? Okay, and you need to understand that, because if you don't, your flesh can go on to have you seen in a permanent clown suit out here. So before I get going into it, call Halam La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Waha, Rakakodash, double honors to the hopefully elect elder apostles, slated to be saved, Lord willing, starting with those at the Great Millstone Church, and Shalom to the rest that may be out here and been out here under the same doctrine. Onward to the Akim here at this faction of this hopefully elective assembly of ours, in the order that's giving diligence, teaching, and all true faith and sincerity, doing what they can to make their body a living sacrifice, and onward to the rest of the Akim doing likewise, and to the rest of the believers in on this faith of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you few women, children, and some men out there of the Israelite race. So, yeah, hoping to be at the house of David. Now, while we waiting on that, we want to pretty much realize certain things, which is in particular the topic of this lesson, so we can give ourselves a better chance at that. And that's, once again, not allowing your flesh to have you seen in a permanent clown suit out here. So I just want to I got some examples pulled up, some scriptures, and through it you're going to be able to see. I'm going to point out to you as well, if your flesh, so you can see if and decide if your flesh is friend or foe. But this is Sirach 18 and 33, just an example, right, of a flesh moment. This is Sirach 18 and 33. Be not made a beggar by banqueting upon borrowing. It says, when thou hast nothing in thy person. Once again, you want to understand the difference between why your flesh and why the scriptures always talk about how the flesh is just off and etc. And you will be able to see through these scriptures, Lord willing, that this is true, and be able to flash back to moments in your life. That's what these particular scriptures I was just reading, which I read before, but it just hit me, just different this time. And it was like, okay, I could just put this in a quick lesson, as far as how true they are, and ultimately, it got me to see, like, yo, this body's just a clown suit. Your body can have you out here looking like a clown. It's flesh. And with that being the case, that shows us how correct the doctrine is when the Lord tells us not to just trust in Him, and stay away from the flesh, mortify, our members, you know, the deeds in our members, certain deeds or whatever, not whatever, but paraphrasing. And because of this, is so true. So this an example we probably seen people go through, have gone through, or went through ourselves, or knew somebody close to, that we was close to, that was in this predicament, which is once again a fleshly example. So let's show. It says, "Be not which you'll be able to see if this with these scriptures as well. If you're in the flesh, if you find yourself still doing these things or had done these things, were you in the flesh or in the spirit? So you get a clear understanding. We'll get a clear understanding for that. All right. To know what it looks like to be in the flesh versus to be in the spirit and why it makes sense, you know, and how your flesh is not, it's really a foe. It's not really a friend. All right. Man, it says, be not made a beggar by banqueting, but upon borrowing when thou hast nothing in thy purse. So yeah, you could become a beggar. The scripture said you could become a beggar, someone constantly asking for something when everything you do is predicated upon, it's based off asking somebody for the means to be able to do whatever you want to do. If that's how you do what you want to do, right? You're a beggar. If you do that one time, you pretty much you went and did something that took means, money, simply, right? In order to do it, but you had to ask somebody else for it. You told them you would pay them back. That is like, okay. But really at that point, you was made that action, that way of going about it and trying to have that done, whatever it was you wanted to do, it made you a beggar. And this is not to push being proud, but it's a difference. It's a conduct. It's a certain that you want to watch out for because it could become a habit, and then you'll be actually known as a beggar. So be not made a beggar by banqueting upon borrowing when thou hast nothing in thy purse. Exactly. If you ain't got nothing, just sit down. If it ain't that serious, it says, "For thou shalt lie and wait for thy own life, and be talked on." Yeah, you know, you're gonna live in a miserable, hate your life, and you're gonna be talked about as what? As being a beggar. And that's due to what? You being so what? Caught up in your flesh. Your flesh. You want to do something so bad, uh, uh go out to eat, and you did it off a borrowing, you know. Now the issue becomes not just off that moment, but if it was to arise again, that same feeling, you just having this feeling, you caught up in your flesh. Like, I want to banquet. Let's get that word banquet real quick. I want to go out to eat. I want to do this. I want to do that. But entertain with a banquet. You want a party. Yeah, a banquet is a formal, large meal. You want to ball out. Have a good time, enjoy yourself. It says, or feast where a number of people consume food together. Right, just simply going out to eat. It says banquets are traditionally held to enhance the prestige of a host or reinforce social bonds. Yeah, we want to go out. I want to, want to kick it tonight. You know, it could be a female. Female want to go out with her girlfriend. She go ask sugar daddy Monday, sugar daddy Tuesday, sugar daddy Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, or her parents or something, or whoever, or whatever she may, that's really, she'll find the means to be able to do these things and look, and fulfill the desires of her flesh by what? Really just begging. And say she keep doing that. Now she's a beggar. She's a beggar. And she look crazy now. Because it says she could have just sat down. It says, when thou hast nothing in thy purse, for thou shalt lie and wait for thy own life and be talked on. Exactly. You know? So that should be clear. Sirach 18 and 32. Take not pleasure in much good cheer. Nothing wrong with taking pleasure in cheer, but it says take not pleasure in much good cheer. Don't be somebody that don't be that person. I always gotta go out. It was Wednesday, we gotta go out. you ain't never got the money, but you always find a way to go out, which, if it came out, it'll be, which it will, if it's upon borrowing. But if you're able to make it happen, it's upon borrowing, you know, being a beggar really. And before you know it, that's just how you always get it done. So now you just outright beggar, and now you like a clown because of your flesh. You see? So take not pleasure in much good cheer, neither be tied to the expense thereof. Right. So your flesh can, in that instance that we just read, make you a beggar. Because it ain't like the doctrine's telling you to do that. Yahweh Shemiah Shah is telling you to do that. The correct thing, the Spirit of the Lord is telling you to do that. You in your right mind, if you will, is telling you to do that. No, your flesh is, you know, your flesh. See that? Your flesh is telling you to do that. So that's pretty much the point, man. So you should see what I'm saying. It says, this is Sirach 18:32. Take not pleasure in much good cheer, which is why you do that, because you so caught up in the feelings, the the illusion of a feeling that is sold to you as to be so long lasting. Oh, good, we have so good. We had, even men is even worse. Or really everybody. We had such a good time that night. We can create memories. You allowed the flesh to sell a lie to you, illusion of something that was so of a moment of good cheer that you've seen you can get and experience, uh, which was actually just temporary. You know, it wasn't even worth it. You go eat the food crappy, which will even furthermore show, okay, your flesh is it could is really a foe. You know, now okay, difference if that's not the case, but I ain't trying to go into so much analyzing of it. I'm just to grit these scriptures and let you see it for what it is, and just try to keep it concise, which I'm gonna go ahead and get to. This is all right, 18:32. Take not pleasure in much good cheer, neither be tied to the expense thereof. Right. Because if you'll end up in that situation because you're a person that's always buying into your flesh telling you, yo, I like having fun, like, that cheer, you take pleasure in much good cheer. It's it's not gonna work out well for you because you're not always gonna have the money sometimes. And then if you do have the money, it says neither be tied to the expense thereof. It's an expense. See that? And for you know it, you doing something you don't need to do when you don't when you, even if you do have the money, and you basically wasting your money, and for you know it, you broke. See that? This is Iraq 18:31. If thou givest thy soul, that's dealing with your life, which is lived out and able to be lived out through your flesh because of your flesh, but you don't want to live through your flesh. You want to live through the spirit, this doctrine. Because if you living through the flesh, you're gonna end up you can end up in these situations. For you got a bad name. For it, you a beggar. You look crazy. People talking about you now. Busybody out here. Can't sit down or whatever. Ain't making sense. And then when you do got the money to do, using it for in the wrong way. You ain't never got no money because you take pleasure in you listen to what the flesh tell you to take, to be pleasure, to get all as ways to get all your pleasure. This all is the society is felt up. This all this society is sown. This is exactly how this society is sown and designed to bring about this. these particular things, man. Why you think it's restaurants and everything everywhere, man? They just create a bunch. It's a circus, and clowns go to the circus. Clowns work at the circus. You know, you caught up in these places so much, it's like you work there. So you like a clown, man. It says, Sirach 18 and 31, if thou givest thy soul the desires that please her, she will make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies that malign thee. Exactly. You know, you will be out here getting laughed at, you know, constantly feeding into this flesh. Your flesh is not your friend. Your flesh tell you to go out over and over and over just because you can, just because you got the money, not caring that you can become broke if you like leaned into it that much. Now, when you stop yourself, that ain't because of your flesh, you know. That's because that's the right thing. Like your sense is going off your conscious of what's right and wrong, and you refusing the flesh at that point. But if you didn't, your flesh will have you broke as hell out here. So your flesh is full. So we just getting these examples. So this is uh Proverbs 27 and 20. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of men are never satisfied. Exactly. That's why if you give your flesh, your soul, if thou givest Sirach 18:31, if thou givest thy soul the desires that please her, she will make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies that malign thee. Why? Because you could never have enough anyway. This flesh can't have enough. The flesh can't get full. So before you know it, you broke. Before you know it, you always everywhere. And everybody say that about you. And you know, you like some little chicken head out here, some little thought. And then you dudes. You looking like you a simp. You some bum broke ass nigga. You a simp. You a peon. It's some carnally dude. You know, hell and destruction are never full. So the eyes of man are never satisfied. Showing you because your eyes and your body, and this is being said in the same breath as hell and destruction, showing you your body, hence your flesh, is nothing but hell and destruction, which is things against you. You know, no one wants to be destroyed, you know, if you will. People knew exactly what destruction would entail. If people knew destruction could entail their worst nightmare as the means to how they're destroyed, people just think, well, we all gotta die, you know. Well, destruction is a whole nother thing. And even if people told that, they don't, you know, they don't consider that it could entail their worst nightmare as far as how they could die, go out, you know. So your in other words, your flesh and understanding your flesh can have you out here real bad because it's never satisfied. So you don't just you cut that off. You don't give your flesh the souls the desires that please her, because she'll make you a laughing stock. You'll be laughed at out here, man. You'll be out here like a clown. Clowns is laughed at. This is Sirach 13 and 30. Go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thy appetites. Whatever you want to do. It's not just actual food. Anything your flesh want to get into that you could get into, do that mean you should get into it? No. But it'll just keep going and going and going. So you able to see now is you know, your flesh is possibly being a foe. It's your flesh friend or foe to be able to discern this. But if you don't discern this, you just you know, you got those people who just go with it. And that's why the scriptures say, Jeremiah 17 and 5, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashmiel Shah, cursed be the man that trusted in man and make its flesh his arm. Yeah, you lean upon flesh, man, you know, and whose heart departed from the Lord. Exactly. So you caught up in the flesh instead of what Yahweh as far as how you should live and, you know, how you obtain a good life and, you know, cheer and etc. Versus how the Lord say we are and we'll get it and are to get it. So it tells us he don't want, it shows us he doesn't really want us looking like a clown, but what you think and how you feel do. And if you lean upon that, you will be seen as a clown out here. People not gonna care they clowns. They're gonna be like, you a clown. You might look more like a clown, but because there is measures of clowns out here. You might look more like a clown than them. You know, Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? This is exactly why you don't what? Go after your lust. Sirach 18:30. But refrain thyself from appetites. Because you just giving it to your flesh. Your flesh gonna tell you anything that may seem good to you, seem good, to you in a moment, just because you inside the flesh. That's what it like. You and the flesh, two different things. And for you know it, you'll go do something that the flesh like. And if you so caught up and in sync with the flesh, you will start thinking it's something you like, but it really ain't nothing you like. It's what the flesh like. And you end up doing something, being somewhere, eating something, trying something you had no business. You wouldn't really do in your right mind. See? And for you know it, you like a clown out here, man. Sirach 5:1, set not thy hearts upon thy goods and say not, I have enough for my life. Follow not thy own mind. That's why the Lord tell us this. And thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. Why? You should understand now. Because because the eyes of man is never satisfied. So it's not too much you can buy, it's not too much you can have before you. So your flesh will have you out here broke, homeless. It's against you, it's foe. And by the time you realize it, you be like, if people so caught up in the flesh, they can't separate themselves from it. As if they're not in it. Your body is just the vessel you're using. But it helps. It plays in how you see this reality. It plays a part in how your reality is experienced. You know? Now you got people super fast, some people super tall, some people super skinny, some people super fat, some people disabled, some people handicapped specifically. Paralyzed. You know, so all these bodies they play they really have an effect. They take an effect, but that's not to say that's who the individual is. That's just the body. That's just like they say in the world, a man is only as good as his tools. You know, like these so-called white people, they clearly want to do more things than their bodies allow. But I'm saying that to prove the point of how your body just play a role in how you able, it affects how you the life you live. It plays a part, you know. So this thing is I ain't gonna say this thing is like it has a mind of its own. So it says, follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. Right. So don't lean upon what, because for most people, they don't separate themselves for the flesh. So this is really talking about the flesh, which for some people that don't do that, most people that don't do that, that don't come into this doctrine and able to see that, they see it as they're considered one. Because it's like the flesh, your mind, but it really when you assess things, it really ain't. Which I'm gonna get. It says, "And thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart." So this the main thing the Lord want us to know. He like separate from that. And by the time you lean upon this, you're able to see like that's his own thing. The flesh like its own thing. It's like you could if the Lord could pull you out of your body and your flesh was you'd be like, what the you'd be like, that wasn't me. And you feel different. Then when you get back in the body, not to talk all high, for those I had an outer body experience so called one time. You feel completely different. Coming back into the body, you feel sick. You feel all the. So it's real, man. It says, and say not who shall control me for my works, for the Lord surely revenge thy pride. But that's why I'm making this lesson. If you're able to assess and separate and see what's what, who's what. You're able to see separate from come out of the flesh and see it for what it is and see, okay, damn, that's what this is thinking. I ain't thinking this shit, you know, because the flesh is on its own thing. This is really the flesh. This is how the flesh operate. And say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord shall will surely revenge thy pride. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me. You wouldn't be saying that. The flesh should say something like that. But it says, for the Lord long suffering, he will in no wise let thee go. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. And that's the point. You know, the flesh will just keep doing what it want to do. It's the only reason I got that. This is Romans 7:14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal. So understand. Yeah, meaning we have to be bought back. We have to be redeemed from these bodies. Okay? Because right now, your body, you're possessed by your body. The body possesses you, you know, pretty much. It says, for that which I do not allow, for that which I do not allow, Salakia, for that which I do, I allow not. For so the things Paul saying he do things that he don't necessarily condone. It says, for what I would, that I do not. And it's hard for him. And for some reason, he's not doing the stuff he really would do. He would do like his true self. It says, but what I hate, that do I. You know, if then, now while he says that, saying is, if then I do that which I will not, I consent unto the law that it is good, right? Because they say if you know better, you will do better. So if you know the law, the Lord don't, allow certain things, but yet you do those things. It's like you saying that you can do those things, as if the Lord says you can do that, but yet that ain't really the case. But yet that's could be the situation sometimes. Now, is it once again because you consent? You say that nah, it's the flesh. So you have to get hip to, if you will, how alive and well it is. Be able to separate it through this understanding. It says through these scriptures. It says Romans 7:17. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. Meaning what? For I know that in me, that is in parentheses, in my flesh dwelleth no good thing. See? So your flesh is foe, man. It says, for to will is present with me. You got the want to do it, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. Why? Because your flesh is one reason that can happen is because you your flesh is stronger than your spirit at this point, and you probably been feeding your flesh. It's like a baby. When you feed the baby, it grow. So that's why I says back in Sirach 18, and you know what? I'm gonna get this one. No, I'm gonna get this one. It says 18:30, go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thy appetites. Exactly. They say feed your debtor, feed your what is it? Feed your starve your distractions, feed your something. Some saying. Let me see. Starve your distractions. See if I can get it. Yeah, starve distractions, feed focus, something like that. Yeah, starve your distractions, feed your focus. Exactly. So you helping make your flesh stronger when you give into everything it wants, and for you know it, you in Paul's stead. You know, even though not to say Paul, he wasn't Paul was heavy in the spirit, but I'm just saying like for those, now, at certain points like this, that's true. So Paul's in the flesh like everybody else. He says, for to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. And even when you get your spirit, more stronger than your flesh, you end up still finding that your flesh is still like there, like fighting you know, to have his way. Just somehow. Which it makes sense based off the world we live in, based off you know, this flesh is just imperfect. Like, I mean, you see more of your flesh than who you truly are, which is the spirit, you know? So it's like it's really hard. It's a hard thing to beat out. But if you're able to see, get this understanding and separate from the two, put a differentiation between the two, you'll be like, okay, I see what's going on, you know? And then you can start beating your flesh more because you're able to see things that resolves around like the usual experience of good feeling or things like that, right? Pleasures, stuff like that. You're able to more so see like if it's just desired in general, not because, like for instance, how the scriptures say, "Be not over righteous much. Why should thou destroy thyself and be not over wicked?" So you can do things, what I'm saying, but that should be your reasoning for when you do things. Now, if you just doing stuff just cause, you be like, okay, that's because of the flesh. That's this flesh right there. But when you doing things with thought, like, okay, I need to, because I'm too high up. I need to, balance out. As brothers like to say, and you really want to do that less, because that's a weak trait. You the wise is in the house of mourning. All right. You're gonna primarily be there, right? But everyone has their different threshold of what they could take. Me, I don't gotta be in the house of feasting like that. I'll be under a rock if I had to, you know. But I'm still in the flesh like everybody else, and it's good to enjoy your eat and drink. That's what the Lord gave, like He said He gave man, you know, according to like cheer, but not much good cheer. But if I do, it's because of that. Like I'm doing it like because I'm following a doctrine, so I don't destroy myself. But if I'm just doing it just cause mindlessly, y'all gonna go, oh yeah, let's shoot, let's go. With the brothers, okay, we might go out because we just need to, balance out so called, right? Just sup with the brothers real quick, you know, uh, some fellowship in a sense, if you will. Because really the fellowship is really, going into the word, make sure everybody's straight. And obviously brothers gotta eat, so that could be a part of it. But less of things like that, like the whole hangout thing, you know. But that, okay, versus y'all just want to go out, yeah. That's that, that the other ones are the spirit. That part right there is of the flesh. And when you notice that, you be like, I ain't doing that, you know. You starving the flesh out. Once you able to see it like that, okay. But anyway, I said enough on here. It says the Lord willing through the Spirit. It says, verse 20. Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law when I would do good, evil is present with me. If I delight in the law of God after the inward man, yeah, who he truly is the spirit. Okay. See, we get that word inward. Yeah, his spirit, soul, and spirit in certain contexts are interchangeable. Yeah, conscience, your conscience is really, your spirit, because once your spirit leave your body, you're not conscious no more in the body, you know, if in a sense, if you will. But it says, "For I delight in the law of God after the inward man, but I see another law in my members warring against the law of my mind, right, against His spirit, because your spirit is in your head. That's your conscious mind. That's the spirit. It's all of the spirit. Which is what you truly are. But He said He see another law, like instructions, something he's something else is instructing him, trying to tell him to do something. That's his members. His members is going into what? His human body, you know, his flesh. Okay. And it says, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. See? Because your body off. So your body is completely, the flesh is completely against Yahweh Shema Shai. It has no restraint. It wants to do what it wants to do. It doesn't do, is when you want to do something that you need to do, it's not your flesh. That's your spirit. And what you need to do is not, it shouldn't be anything, it shouldn't be considered anything that you, when you upon assessing for yourself, that will destroy you, right? Or have you ultimately at the end of the day as a clown, right? O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? See that? So there it is, man. So your body is full. I thank God through Yahweh Shah Hamashiach or Adawan, the Lord as Lord in Hebrew. So then with the mind, I myself saw serve the law of the Most High, but with the flesh, the law of the sin, which is how we able to still be deemed just, because we don't, you got people that don't want to actually do the right things. They completely one with their flesh. You got people that want to do the right thing. That's those that serve the law of the Most High, but still in the flesh. So they go off too, right? But you're supposed to take these different teachings and get better, beat out the flesh as much as possible, offend less, mortify old things, traits you used to have, issues through these teachings, through examining, through trying, through praying for the wisdom to be able to do such. All right. But at the end of the day, you're still in the flesh, so you go off, which is showing you that your flesh serves sin. It serves the law of sin. It's instructed to sin, to doing whatever you want to do without any care how you may look. If you look like a clown, that's sin. The Lord don't like fools. Another word for clown is fool. So this is Romans 8:1. There is therefore no combination to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushai, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. For the law of the spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahushai hath made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, right? The law fell it. They say truth fell it. The lost fellas in the streets, the just man, departed, really do going back to when Adam fell off. But the law is made weak through all the, you got a bunch of corruptible people, Israelites in the flesh, and this flesh that want to do what it want to do. It's more of that than any perfect body. That's why Yahushua is so special. So with that being the case, it's like the law is weak because it's more so of flesh going on. A bunch of Israelites dealing with the flesh, whether intentional or unintentional. Okay. It says the Most High sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us. Exactly. To be able to really, for the Lord to not have a reason to destroy the bodies. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother thing. It says, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is, so it's simple. But the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So that's your flesh. Your flesh is trying to get who you actually are. You within that, you the person that's going to hear consciously or unconsciously the rep, right? The response to whatever it is you doing, however you out here, because of your flesh, which could be bad things due to your flesh. And due to you, if you awaken, not taking heed to a lesson like this, this is Romans 1:21, because that when they knew God, Yahweh Shem Shah, they glorified him not as Yahweh Shem Shah, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. That whole thing of do what make you feel good. Live your life. Do what you want to do. All right. You only got one life. All lies. That's people that's completely in their flesh. Those is demons. Those are people who's smothered away in that flesh, and it's just demons just controlling those bodies. You know, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Yeah, clowns. They became clowns. Okay. Yeah, and we look it up. It say lose savor. The Lord said, "You are the salt of the earth." So you need to keep yourself to your standard. When you go into the word full, it says deceive, trick. All these things is synonymous with what? With clown. A clown, man. Yeah, con. Let me see if we get the word con, clown on here. Bamboozle. Yeah. Oh, there it is. A jester or a clown. So to see the ancient times really still around, they just they just evolved. So because Jake say that a lot, that's a clown, you clown ass nigga. That's really like Jake being like, thou fool, thou fool. See that? So it's true. Clown or fool, a jester, especially so there it is, man. It's the spirit. All right. So be professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, doing whatever you want to do, getting caught up in that, you're gonna be a clown, man. You know? So it says, and change the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man, and to birds, and 4-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore the Most High Yahweh Shema Shah gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, right? To dishonor their own bodies between themselves. I'm gonna jump to the point. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worship to serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. This is the point. For this cause, the Most High gave them up unto vile affections. Nope. I'm gonna jump to the point. Well, now I'll read through. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Yeah, these are a bunch of people who flesh tell them, I wonder, try this out, experiment with this and experiment with that. That's all through your flesh. Because you in your right mind wouldn't do nothing like that. The scriptures don't tell you to do nothing like that. And then when you do it, you a clown. You abomination. You a fool. You a clown out here. As it's going to go on to say. And likewise, also the men leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men working that, which is unseemly, because niggas want to experiment. They flesh told, you know what? We getting it in. We partying. Ray J was feeling like Ray J. When you gonna party with me, Fab? That damn nigga P. Diddy. All in their flesh, hanging with Esau. Esau come with all these wicked imaginations. Cause he's nothing but a carnal man. Say he was a man of the field. A worldly carnal nigga, man. He's no profane person is Esau. Carnal. He wanna eat when he shouldn't, because if he do, he's gonna have to sell his birthright and lose everything. So now he's a fool. That's why the Lord said he's going to provoke us to anger with a foolish people, a bunch of clowns. That's their whole world is based off being a clown, making yourself a clown. All these cartoon shows, Halloween. When it ain't Halloween, you got people out here with blue hair, pink hair, niggas with face. You can just be whatever the hell you want to be. what manner of the ruler of the city is, so are the people. For if a ruler hearken to lies, so are all his servants. See? So Esau a clown. That's why you got a world full of clowns, man. They say when the vilest men are exalted, the wicked walk on every side. So when you got a clown nigga ruling everything, you're gonna have a bunch of clown citizens, and the whole society is gonna be set up. It's gonna be a circus, basically. It said, and look, that circus concept ain't gonna exist in the kingdom. Now, humor, that's of the Lord. Being funny, that's of the Lord. But some imagination like this is sick, man. You know, goddamn clowns. You know, that's Esau, the greatest show on earth. And you realize what everybody's flesh is just a clown suit, man. And if you get caught up in your flesh, you gonna be out here being seen like a clown due to something your flesh has you do or a situation that got you in that put a blot on your record or got you out here, you know, looking crazy, homeless because some dumb shit you want to do, your flesh wants to do, and you listen to. So anyway, and likewise, the natural use of women burnt in their lust toward one towards another, men with men working that which is unseemly and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat. And even as they did not, yeah, somebody that get destroyed, you know, because they want to be caught up in their flesh, do whatever their flesh want to do. They want to kill somebody, murder somebody, pop somebody, a woman. Woman want to cheat on her husband. Nigga want to, do something stupid or blow all their money. Now they dead or now you a hoe, now you a thought, you a clown. Your flesh, due to your flesh that you trusted in, who wasn't even your friend, it was a foe. This doctrine is for us, man. Yahweh Shemiel Shai is for us. That's why we get new bodies. He don't want us to he don't want us to be out here looking like clowns, but your flesh do. Satan does. All right. Last verse it says, and even as they did not like to retain Yahweh Shemiel Shai in their knowledge, Yahweh Shemiel Shai gave them over to a reprobate mind to do that with things which are not convenient. Meaning that shows you how you're able to separate. Okay, how do I specifically separate and see the two so where I'm not doing that? Well, once again, if it's not the things you're doing is not geared towards or powered by what the scriptures say, if you was to read them or just think about them, it's of the flesh. You're moving of the flesh. And he don't want you moving like that. He wants everything you do and to consider, whether it's cheer or afflicting yourself or just chilling out, because according to the scriptures, that's cool. And if you don't want to live your life like that, you live your life literally according to what the scriptures say, because you're trying to keep yourself from looking like a fool, he gonna give you over to your flesh. You're gonna live a life of flesh and you're gonna be a fool out here. And you're gonna eventually be out here in front of people seen as one that has what a permanent clown suit on. So this is Galatians 5:17. For the flesh lusted against the spirit. You will know. So if it's something that it ain't even you, it's something you get something feeling like you want to do it, but it's against what's right. You women talking back to your husbands, acting crazy with your husbands, and you know that's off. That ain't you. And you know. That's the flesh. That's what your flesh want to do. I just want to tell this nigga off. Brothers want to go off and say some crazy stuff on the highways or people or whatever. That ain't you. You know what's off according to the scriptures. That ain't you. That's the flesh. You know, I shouldn't say this. I can't say this. Oh, I can't talk to her. Or I can't do this. Or I shouldn't do this. I should chill. Or I shouldn't go out. You know what? I need to fast, but you don't. I need to fast, but you don't. You're seeing the two completely being split right before your face. The minute the moment come up that there's something that's off and your conscience go off, that's you're seeing this. You see it. You see it. You're like, oh, there go that thing right there. You know, it says for the flesh lust against the spirit and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other. So that's the clearest way to see it, so that you cannot do the things that you would. And it's the last scripture. So it's a Proverbs 27:12. A prudent man foreseeth the evil. So now knowing this, going forward, you know what to look out for and what's going on. You know, certain things arise that may be feelings or thoughts or things you want to say or do or go or try or not do that you should, but that you should, because it's a right according to scriptures and all the things before I said that, which will be wrong to the scriptures, but yet you do those, you know, when those are not even doing, but when those things arise, you know what it is. And you know you shouldn't give heed to it, and you know what happens if you do. You're gonna end up being seen once again, what? As a clown out here, man. Go on with it if you want to. Scoff if you want to, fall out if you want to, adhere to the flesh if you want to. You're gonna be looking like a clown in some way due to whatever you did, right? Permanently. And then when you die, the Lord gonna raise you back up and hit you with a nuke. It says, and hideth himself. So a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So call halam like how bash me out shy with Harakak with Dash. Lord, this has been edifying. Until next time, Shalom.